10 easy music video effects you can do right now in both DaVinci Resolve Free and Studio. Let's go. First on the list, Luma Displace. Bring in a merge node, click on the empty space, then shift spacebar, search for Luma Keyer, and bring it in. Connect media in to the Luma Keyer background, that's the yellow triangle. Select the Luma Keyer and set the blur in the inspector to 10. Click on the empty space, shift spacebar again, and search for Displace. Bring it in, and connect the Luma Keyer to the background of the Displace. Now grab a fast noise node, bring it in, and connect it to the foreground of the Displace. With the fast noise selected, go to the inspector, change the scale to 5.5, and the seethe to 0.14. Also select the Luma Keyer and press 1 on the keyboard to bring it into the left view panel. Next, select the Displace node and in the inspector set the refraction strength to 1 and the spread to 3. Click on the empty space, shift space again, and bring a glow node. Connect the Displace to the background of the glow, select the glow, go to the settings tab, uncheck the alpha channel, go back to the controls, set the shine threshold to 0, the spread to 7. Next, right click on gain, go to modify width and select shake. Now go to the modifiers tab and set the smoothness to 3. Now connect the glow node to the foreground of the merge node. And there you have it, the Luma Displace effect. Second on the list, the distortion vignette effect. Bring in a merge node in between media in and media out, click on the empty space, shift spacebar, and bring in a chroma keyer. Connect the media in to the chroma keyer background, select the chroma keyer, press 1 on the keyboard to bring it in the left viewer, and open up the color range in the inspector. Adjust the color sliders to your liking and the luminance slider. Next, go to the matte tab and set the blur to 10. Now connect the chroma keyer to the foreground of the merge node. Select the merge node, go to the inspector to the edges and change from canvas to mirror. Next, right click on center, modify width, and choose shake. Go to the modifiers tab, set the smoothness to 15, the minimum to 0.4, and the maximum to 0.5. Now let's bring in a polygon mask and connect it to the mask of the merge node. You can use any of the masks that DaVinci Resolve provides. Press and hold Ctrl or Command on the keyboard and scroll down to zoom out, and let's draw a mask. With the polygon node selected, go to the inspector, click on invert, and set the soft edges to 0.075. And that is it, the distortion vignette effect. Number 3, light overlays effect. Bring in a merge node, click on the empty space, shift spacebar, and bring in a bitmap node. Connect the media in to the background of the bitmap, press 1 on the keyboard to bring it in the left viewer, and change the channel from alpha to luminance, and the high point to 0.3. Next, add a transform node and set the bitmap as a mask for the transform. Next, connect the media in as a background to the transform node. With the transform node selected, set the size to 3 and the angle to -90. Next, double click on the empty space, shift spacebar, and bring in a frame average node. Connect the transform node to the background of the frame average, select the node, and change the frames from 0 to 2, and the sample direction from backwards to both. Next, bring in a prism blur and connect the frame average to the background of the prism blur. Select the node, set the blur to 0.3, aberration distance to 0.3, aberration strength to 0.53, vignette to 0.1, and sharpness, leave it at 5. Next, bring in a glow node, connect the prism blur to the glow node as a background, select the node, set the shine threshold to 0, the spread to 0.7, the gain to 0.9, and choose a random color. Next, connect the glow node as a foreground to the merge node. Select the merge node and change the apply mode from normal to screen. Next, grab a polygon mask, bring it in, and connect it to the merge node as a mask. Control or Command on the keyboard and scroll down to zoom out, and let's draw a random mask. Next, go to the inspector of the polygon node and change the soft edges from 0 to 0.12 and the borders to 0.15. Obviously, you can change the shape of the mask or use a different mask completely. And that's the light overlay effect. Number 4, the average stop motion trails effect. Double click on the empty space, shift spacebar, and bring in a frame average node. Connect the media in to the background of the frame average, select the node, change sample direction to both and the frames to 10. Next, bring in a merge node between media in and media out, and click on the empty space, shift spacebar, and bring in a time speed node. Connect the frame average background to the time speed background, and with the time speed selected, increase the delay to 2. Then connect the time speed node to the merge node as a foreground. Select the merge node, go to the settings tab, and uncheck a color. Double click on the empty space, shift spacebar, and add a stop motion node. Bring this in between the merge node and the media out node, and set the frame repeat to 3. And that is the average stop motion trails effect. Next, number 5, the shake duplicate effect. Shift spacebar and bring in a duplicate node. Place it in between media in and media out. Select the node, increase the number of copies to 7, and change the apply mode from normal to lighten. Then right click on center, modify width, and choose XY path. Now go to the modifiers tab, double click X and Y to reset the keyframes. Right click on X, modify width, and choose shake. Here we set the smoothness to 0.5, the minimum to 0.5, and the maximum to 0.55. Then we go back to the Tools tab and we set the blend to 0.5. We open up the blur section, we uncheck lock blur, and increase the X blur to 0.025. And that's it for the shake duplicate effect. Now for number 6, the color duplicates effect. Bring a merge node in between media in and media out. Double click on the empty space, shift spacebar, and search for Luma Keyer. Connect the media in to the background of the Luma Keyer, select the node. In the inspector, change the low value to 0.06 and the high value to 0.83. Then change the blur to 0.9. Next, double click on the empty space again, shift spacebar, and search for duplicate. Connect the Luma Keyer to the duplicate background and the duplicate to the merge foreground. Select the duplicate node, increase the copies to 10, the size to 1.03, and the blend to 0.5. Next, right click on the center, modify width, and choose shake. Now go to the modifiers tab and set the minimum to 0.4 and the maximum to 0.6. Next, go back to the Tools tab, open up Blur, and set the blur to 0.01. Now select the Merge node, change the edges from Canvas to Mirror, and go to the Settings tab and uncheck a color. And that's it for the color duplicate effect. Number 7, the aberration shake effect. Shift spacebar in the empty space and search for Prism Blur. Bring it in between media in and media out, then go to the inspector and change the blur strength to 0.23, the aberration distance to 0.22, the aberration strength to 0.46, and position X to 0.57. Next, right-click on position, modify width, and choose XY path. Go to the modifiers tab, double-click X and Y to reset the keyframes, and right-click on X and choose modify width, shake. Set the smoothness to 15, the minimum to minus 0.7, and the maximum to 1.4. And if you want to change the speed of the effect, just play with the smoothness slider. And that's it for the aberration shake effect. Number 8, the glow displace flicker effect. Shift spacebar in the empty space and search for wand. Bring it in, connect the media in to the background of the wand, and press 1 on the keyboard to bring wand into the left viewer. Place the point wherever you want on the scene, then go to the inspector and change the soft edges from 0 to 0.01. Next, grab a transform node and bring it in between media in and media out. In the inspector, change the edges from canvas to mirror. Then go to the settings tab, enable motion blur, and set the shutter angle to 360. Back to the controls, right click on center, modify width, and choose shake. Go to the modifiers tab, set the smoothness to 3, the minimum to 0.4, and the maximum to 0.7. Next, connect the wand to the transform node as a mask. Now, double click on the empty space, shift spacebar, and search for glow. Bring it in between transform and media out. Set the shine threshold to 0.17 the spread to 0.18 and the gain to 0.9. Next, right-click on the red channel, modify width, and choose Shake. Go to the modifiers and hit Reseed 2 times. Back to Tools and repeat the same steps for green and blue. And that is all for the glow displace flicker effect. Number 9, the selective color effect. Bring in a merge node in between media in and media out. Double click on the empty space, shift spacebar, and search for chroma keyer. Connect the media in to the background of the chroma keyer. Press 1 on the keyboard to bring it into the left viewer. In the inspector, go to the matte tab and select invert matte. Back to the chroma tab, open up the color ranges, and play with the sliders.
Me, I got something to prove. I wanna lose. Yeah, something to prove. You know that I wanna lose.
Then set the soft range to 0.2. Next, let's grab a color corrector node, bring it in, and connect the chroma keyer to the background of the color corrector. In the inspector, choose a color, right-click on Tint, modify width, and choose Anim Curves. Go to the Modifiers tab, set the source from transition to duration, and set the scale to 2. Next, double-click on the empty space and bring in a glow node. Connect the corrector to the background of the glow, set the shine threshold to 0. Next, right-click on Gain, modify width, and choose Shake. Go to the Modifiers tab, set the smoothness to 12.5, the minimum to 0.4, and the maximum to 0.7. Now connect the glow to the merge as a foreground. And this is how you do the selective color effect. And now, the last one, the glitch glow flicker effect. Bring a merge node in between media in and media out. Next, grab a transform node, connect the media in to the background of the transform, select the node, change the edges from canvas to mirror, right-click on center, modify width, and choose Shake. Go to the modifiers, set the smoothness to 3, the minimum to 0.5, the maximum to 0.6. Next, double-click in the empty space, shift spacebar, and choose Glow. Connect the transform to the background of the glow node, select the glow node, right-click on the shine threshold, modify width, and choose Shake. Go to the modifiers and set the smoothness to 3. Now back to the Tools tab, set the spread to 0.6. Next, right-click on Gain, modify width, and choose Shake. Go to the modifiers and set the smoothness to 3. Then press Reseed 3 times. Now connect the glow node to the merge as a foreground, select the merge, and change the apply mode from normal to pin light. Next, right-click on Blend, choose Expression, and type in random parentheses 0,2 close parentheses. Finally, go back to the glow node and choose a random color. And that is all for the glitch glow flicker effect. I think I'm gonna change the video title on how to use Shake for everything. Anyway, if you enjoyed this type of video, drop a comment and let me know which other effects you want me to cover. And if you want to get better at editing, check out this video where I go over masking in DaVinci Resolve. And until next time, take care.